So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you how to, instead of just putting pictures on these 3D objects, I want to show you how to put movies on them, okay? So it starts off with that. Essentially what we have to do is be able to make texture out of videos as well as out of just regular pictures. And it takes a little bit of different code than we used in the previous class. In the last class, all you needed was a picture. And if you had the picture, you could actually figure out what the code would be just by putting the picture on the screen. But this time you have to get the thing. Let me see if I can get up here. How about YouTube? I'm going to actually go all the way, and I'm going to down a video to play. Okay, so let's say you go to YouTube and you want to get a video, and you want to copy it, and you want to use it for your whatever it is, whatever you're doing. So therefore, what you have to do is you have to go to YouTube, and you have to search for whatever you want to look for. Let's say mountains, just for fun, mountains. And so it'll come up with a bunch of mountains, and I'll go to a page to see what they've got. Fast too. This may be the problem. This may not be fast enough here. I don't know why it's diddle-dalling on me. I got here. Oh, here's some. Oh, it's already got mountains. It just has them in a weird way. Okay, how about this one here? This ought to be good. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of that. So this is the mountain scene right here, and
is it this going to be a problem with already recording?
Yes, it's recording right now. That is going to be a problem, but don't worry, I actually knew that was going to happen. So what would happen under normal circumstances is you would take the very frame that I have right here, and you'd put it around the scene, and then you'd start the recording and record the thing. Just, I think everybody here has done that once. Everybody done that with the screencast? Okay, so you capture the thing, and you bring it into your computer. You save it in your computer, and now you have it with some name, whatever it happens to be. Okay, let's say you have the thing. Okay, that part's done. I just wanted to do that so that you see that's what you do. You have to get the video. Now, another way you might want to do is you might want to use your cell phone. If you use your cell phone, offload into the USB port onto your machine, and then what you do is play. You got a player in there of some kind. Just play the video that you want, and as you play it, put this rectangle around it, and do the same thing. Record. Don't use your cell phone recording for your web pages, because it won't work. The trouble is the telephone recordings are very high quality, and the thing is that they won't stream very well. They don't stream. So therefore, what your viewer will see is something going ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. It'll be very, very slow. So what you want to do is you want the thing to move fast and smooth. So the only way to do that is to bring your cell phone video in, play the video while you have one of these frames around it, go to screen saving and get it, and then you capture the video that you made and save that and use that video, the one that you copy, as the one in your web page, and that way it'll work if the speed you want it to work at. Okay, so that'll take care of that, and that's the only thing I wanted to say about that. And so now assume that you've downloaded the video and you have it. Now I got to find a video in this machine that actually I can use. Let me see what I got here. Hope I got something. This is CS101. Yeah. Hawaii. Yeah, we have one. We have a video, MP4. This is Hawaii back right there. I'm going to pull it out onto the desktop here so I can use it. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so what I have on the desktop now is this video. I actually did exactly what I said before. I downloaded the thing, so I have it. Okay, and so now what I want to do is I want to put that video on a plane in a 3D world, okay? So what I have to do is write the program to put that video in. This thing is called Hawaii Back. And so I'll just write the program. Okay, to begin with, I'm going to write the entire program step by step and tell you what I do as I go, okay? If I make any typos, you'll know because I'm very capable of making typos. So far, so good? Okay, so that's all clear what that is, right? That's just the beginning of every program. Now I'm going to do script language. It's a lot faster than it is on the board, isn't it? And you can read it, which is quite helpful. Okay, I'm going to create a variable. It's called degrees, and I'll explain that to you in a few minutes here, but variable degrees. That's because I'm going to use it for something. And I'm going to set the degrees equal to 0. Basically what I'm saying is the camera is pointed straight ahead. It's 0. It isn't pointed in any direction. You're the camera. Okay. The next thing is I'm going to say, how far is the camera from the middle of the scene? How far am I backed up? Because I have to get far enough away from it when I look forward. I want to see it. If I'm in the middle, I don't see anything. I'm right in it. So everything starts off in the middle. So what I do is I say, okay, I want to pull the camera back, camera radius, and I gave it 300 in this case here. Should be equal 300. Yep.
Is that 300 pixels or?
No. Let's talk about that again. The units that this uses are whatever units you want to think in. If you think in miles, everything's in miles. If you think in inches, everything's in inches. As long as you're consistent, the units don't make any difference. They're artificial. In other words, what's the difference? Okay, it'll work the same way. If I say the thing is 20 big and I'm 50 back, no matter if that's miles, it's going to be the same proportions, the same everything. So that's how it works. They don't give you a measure. It's not a measurable.
It's arbitrary. Okay.
Yeah, it's arbitrary in whatever units you want to use. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to use the keyboard to do things, go forward and backwards, and to turn the camera around so it goes around the object. So in order to do that, I have to have, it's built in, by the way, it's built into Graphics XX, but I do have to have a function that says, when I hit a key, come here and do what you have to do. So the function is called key hit, so I'm going to write it right in here, key hit. You probably remember that from previous times. And it doesn't need an argument because it brings in an argument automatically. You don't have to do anything. This thing comes from when you hit a key, it comes in with information for you, but it just jumps right in. And it's got the information stored in a key called keystroke. That's where the information is stored. In other words, it comes in with a variable. It's already got something in it. And so you say, well, if keystroke, which is what contains the information, is equal to 37, and that's the left arrow key, okay? I'm going to use the 4 arrow keys to control where I'm at here. Left arrow key is going to say to the camera, go like that around the world, looking at the world, and the right arrow key brings you this way. It just sort of allows you to roll around and look at the thing. And the up and down arrow keys cause you to go in and come back out again. So you can go in towards the object or away from it. So you have a little camera control there as to what you want to do. So it's 37 degrees minus equal 1, semicolon, close. Okay, does that all look okay, you guys? If you see anything, if you see me type anything wrong, I don't want to have to debug this thing if I don't have to. Okay, now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save a little time. I'm just going to copy this. This is something you guys can do, but you got to be careful when you do it. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it down here, and then I have to change the numbers. Like this is 39 right here. It's 39. That's the right arrow. 37 is the left arrow. 39 is the right arrow. And then I have to change this minus to a plus. What I'm doing is I'm saying if I hit the left arrow, the degrees are going to go down. I'm going to go in the left direction. If I hit the right arrow, the degrees are going to go up. I'm going to go in the right direction. 1 degree for each time I hit the key. Or I can hold it down. It'll smoothly keep going, okay? Remember, the computer does not remember, doesn't understand degrees. It only understands radians. But in this particular case, I go through a computer program that converts degrees to radians for you. You're going to have to do that yourself after a while. I'll show you how to do it. It's not that hard, but it's a nuisance. It requires a little bit of arithmetic. So basically what I've done is, when it comes to the camera control, that it's all taken care of for you. If you say degrees to the camera, it knows you mean radians and it converts it. Okay, and I'll show you how it does that down the road a little bit. Okay, next thing is, so I've done that. So now I got these two guys. Next thing I want to do is I want to use the 2 arrows that bring me forward and backwards. I'm going to put those 2 guys in. So I say, well, if the keystroke, either of those 2 things, do that. Otherwise, if the keystroke stroke equals 40, what they do? Oh yeah, the T, thank you. Stroke equals 40. Then what I want to do is I want to say the camera radius that's a variable, just a variable I created. Degrees, they're both just variables, nothing else. Plus equals 1, close. Let me look at that. Camera radius equals 1, that looks good, okay? And again, I'm going to try to cheat again by taking that line right there. The only advantage to cheating like this is that you don't have to type quite so much. Copy it, put the mouse down the next line, if it has a next line, like that. But you got to be really careful that you change those numbers, because if you miss a number, you're going to screw everything up. This should be 38 right here. And this should be a minus right here. So at this point, what I've done is I've gotten all the 4 arrows activated. When I hit a key, it comes in, and if it's any one of these things, it does what I told it to do. Either degrees is added, subtracted, or notice the camera radius starts off at 300. So if I subtract, it means it's shorter. I'm going towards the thing. If it's 40, then I go the other way. I'll go in the positive direction, away from it. Positive is backwards, because everything in this direction is positive in the z direction. Oh, in your direction, z would be positive. And so when you hit positive, you're making more distance. The radius is getting bigger, okay, between you and the object. Minus means you're closing that radius, getting closer to it. Okay, so that takes care of that. So that little routine reminds me that when you're writing these programs, there's actually 3 areas you got to be concerned about. The first breakdown is, of course, everything's in the head and everything's in the body. That's the first breakdown. The second breakdown is in the head. This stuff I'm doing right here is in the first breakdown. In other words, anything I have to do that's not inside of the render routine has to be done up and top right away. So in other words, you have an area up in there in the JavaScript. You do whatever you have to do. This little thing right here where I'm testing the keyboard, that's done in the JavaScript. Okay. And one other thing is, this is the kind of mistake that would be very easy to make. You have to close that. Do you know why I did that? That's the end of the function. That function's over. So in other words, it does key hit, it does what it's supposed to do, and then it closes the function. So I have to have that in there. That's necessary. And now I can go down and I can talk about the render function, which is the one that actually draws everything, does all the work for us. So this is called function. And don't forget that word function. It's essential when you're setting it up. Render. And it just goes like so. No, not like that. Like this. And I'll write this. Don't forget the render function. What the render function does is it's the thing that displays everything you're doing. But the render function has to, every frame, it has to come back and redraw everything, redraw everything, because you might move something and it wants to draw it with the new positions. So therefore, it has this request animation frame. What it simply does is it says draw the thing, and when you finish drawing it all, jump back and do it again. So in other words, once it gets locked into this thing, it just keeps going back to it again and again and again. The whole rest of the program keeps doing it.